Hello, this is Ron back with another video adventure. Today, I'm going to discuss how I made a recent video about a new beach bar that opened in Margate City, the town where I live in. And there's a place called the Greenhouse, and they had like an outdoor deck that they use for summer for years. But because of the coronavirus this year and keeping the proper social distance, they decided to erect the beach bar this year, where it allowed them to be kind of completely outside, and they could get people far enough away that they would be acceptably social distance. And we had a place on the beach called the locals we call it the Dead Zone down here, because when they built the dunes a few years back in reaction to Hurricane Sandy, they kind of built the dune down the middle of the beach, because our beachfront isn't a straight line. It kind of went in and out, so they just took the easy way and put the dune, say, basically down the middle of the beach. So it kind of created this, that we called it, this part of the beach that was between the dune and the bulkhead. And we call it the Dead Zone because nobody ever really uses it. So they put this beach bar in essentially the Dead Zone, which meant that it really didn't get anybody's way or cause any issues, because nobody used that space anyways, except to walk back and forth. But anyhow, they did a really good job setting up the beach bar. They got some palm trees there, and they kind of make it look like something you would see in Florida or the Caribbean. And I think it was a great idea. I hope it's a big success. I haven't actually gone there myself to eat or drink, but I hope to make it down there soon. They do require you to wear a mask when you enter. But I guess at the table, when you sit down and you get your food, you can remove your mask and enjoy your dinner or your beverage of choice and so on. But anyhow, so what I did is, there's a lot of interest down here in the community, so I decided to go out and film a little video, about a short video. So to get the aerial shots, I used got it right here. Sorry, the focus camera. I got the Mavic 2 Pro. I didn't pick the Pro for any particular reason outside. I've been flying the Mavic Air 2 a ton lately, so I just wanted to get the Mavic 2 Pro out and get it some air time. So I flew. I had the ND8 on it, the one that the Polar Pro ND8 filter. I probably could have used the 16 because it was pretty bright. I flew it about 7:30 a.m. in the morning here, and the sun comes up almost at 5 now, so it's pretty bright by that time. So I probably should have used the 16, but it's not a big deal on the Mavic 2 Pro because you have the adjustable aperture on here, so that helps you alleviate the problems. You keep the shutter at a respectable rate, so you don't get that motion blur. But anyhow, so I used the Mavic Pro. I shot it in the D-Log profile, and I color corrected it in LumaFusion on the iPad. LumaFusion, if you don't know it, it's an app, and I'm not sure if it's Android and iOS both. I use the iOS version, and I don't have an Android device. I just don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I can link that in the comments below. But I use LumaFusion, and it's a great mobile editor. As powerful as many desktop apps, and it chews up and handles 4K video like nothing. So of course I had to shoot a 4K 30 on the Mavic 2 Pro because that's the limitation. It doesn't go 4K 60 at 4K. You can do 60 at the lower resolution, 2.7, 1080p. But I want to stick with 4K for this. So that was my setup. D-Log. I shot. It's a 4K 30. White balance, sunny. I don't know exactly what my shutter or aperture settings were, but whatever, the best I could do. I don't know what they actually were, and the other settings were auto or normal. I can't think of what else to tell you that I said, but anyhow. Then for the ground footage, I used still what is my favorite mobile gimbal. It's Zion, which everybody pronounces that different. Q4, smartphone gimbal, and it's a couple. I'm going to say maybe it's almost 2 years old now. Definitely more than a year, and it's still my favorite gimbal. I've got a couple other ones. I've even got more compact ones. I've got the Zion Smooth Q2, I believe it's a much smaller one than this. But I still like this one the best. And one of the reasons I like it best is it integrates with the Filmic Pro app, which I believe also the DJI mobile Osmo Mobile 2 also does. I don't think the 3 does yet, but the 2 does. And on this one, all the function buttons here control different functions in the LumaFusion app, so you never really have to touch the touch command on the screen on the sorry, I'm going to get myself tongue tied here, on the Filmic Pro app. You can control almost everything you need to do through the functions buttons here and the focus and zoom dial. So I use this for my ground footage. Now I did shoot this in 4K 60 at the Filmic Pro Extreme quality, and I think I don't know if I shot in their log profile or not. I can't remember if I set it or I didn't set it. But anyhow, that was my basic settings. The 4K 30, the same thing. White balance, sunny. Nothing else to really talk about. In the settings, per se there. Of course, I can't control the aperture. I use the iPhone 11 Pro. Can't control the aperture. I can only control the shutter on that. So at that point, I did the same thing. I took it into LumaFusion, which also LumaFusion has a couple Filmic Pro LUTs to help get it right. And I actually used the same Filmic Pro LUT on the footage from the iPhone 11 Pro and out of the Mavic 2 Pro to kind of match them up the best I could. I could see the difference, because I saw scratched all the color grading, but I think it'll match up pretty good to somebody who who didn't see the video raw and put it all together. So this video only runs about I think it's less than 2 minutes, and that's all it has to be, 2 minutes. So I'm going to roll the video now, and then we're going to come back and get some final thoughts on what you thought of it. So okay, roll the video, please. I hope you enjoyed that video. I kind of maybe overdid it with the saturation, the color, the vibrance, but I kind of, really want to knock it out because I'm probably mostly going to reach my audience on Facebook. It's several big groups down here in Margate City, Facebook groups with big followings. So, the Facebook is they kind of watered the video down. It's kind of like a low resolution. So the more the video pops, the better it looks on Facebook. So that's why I kind of got a little oversaturated here, or a little bit maybe too much vibrance for some people's preference. So, Maybe at a later date I'll tone that down for more of a YouTube or Vimeo, edition of this. But I really want to pump it up for the Facebook fans, and most people, especially looking on mobile devices like mobile phones and tablets or whatever, the smaller screens, the more punchy you can make the video, the more impact it has with those people. So again. I hope you like the way I put this together, and I just wanted to show you what you can do with some somewhat affordable devices. I guess I really can't call the Mavic 2 an affordable drone at about 1,500, 1,600, but I could have got the same results with the Mavic Air 2, which starts at only $799. So and the Zhiyun Smooth 4 there, I think that thing, when it was new, was maybe around 150, but I think it's closer to around the $100 price point now. And again, even though it's maybe close to 2 years old now, I think it's still a very a worthy gimbal to get as far as features and everything, especially if you use the Filmic Pro app. I mean, using the Zhiyun app is, Zhiyun X Play app, I believe it's called. I mean, it's a pretty good app too, so even if you don't want to spend the extra $20 to get the Filmic Pro app, you can still get good results from the Zhiyun app also. So, again, I thank you for, stay with me here, so I kind of describe my workflow with you. I tried to be as smooth as I could on the handheld shots on the beach with the Smooth 4, and you have all heard about, they call it the gimbal walk, where you kind of walk almost like you kind of bow your legs a lot, and it was and that is kind of effective when you're on ground like blacktop or cement or something. Very firm, but I had to do this in the sand, where the sand, this wasn't hard packed down sand, so I'm kind of like sinking the sand as I'm trying to be as smooth as possible. So that's why, maybe the ground footage doesn't look as smooth as you would have hoped it would have been, but again, it was a battle with, walking on the thing. I probably should have flew a drone at about 5 feet off the ground to get the footage. It's probably what I should have done. I should have taken a small drone like the Mini down there and flew it, around. But anyhow, you always come up with better ideas when you're back from the shoot. But what I did do is, I shot this footage on here at 4K 60 and 4K 30 on the the Mavic 2 Pro, but what I did is I downres everything to 24 frames per second, for the final output, so that hopefully that smooths some of the bumps and the unsteadiness that I got from walking around in the sand with the handheld gimbal. So, and one piece of advice too, when you're using the Smooth 4, I still keep the stabilization on the phone as well. Some people debate whether you should turn on, off, whatever. I get better results leaving the stabilization on the phone and having a 3-axis gimbal at the same time. So that's just me. I don't know if that's scientific or others may have different opinions, but that's the way I like to do it. So again, thanks. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna call it my little promotional video. I had fun making it, and I hope to get good feedback from my Facebook people I made it for, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about how I made it, or the equipment I used, or what my thought process was, or why I used this setting or that setting, just leave the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you and try to answer all the questions. So thanks again for joining me for this video, and we will definitely see you on that next one.